Hi, so we talked in class in the last video about elements and responsibilities for the graphic producer. What I'm going to show you here today are just some of the basics to get you started in building your graphic list. Your graphic list will be generated really from your producer. They're supposed to mark the script with what graphics and where they want them, and then create you a separate graphics list. If you didn't get that from them, please do. And even if you did, think of yourself as a producer and maybe add some flair, some extra information to help out the show. So we're looking at a blank canvas within the LiveText software. The first thing you want to do is just go up to File in the upper left and just save your project as. Get that saved right away. Down here right now says Untitled 5. I'm just going to call it Demo 2015, we'll call it maybe. All right, and right now it's in the LiveText folder, so I'll just save it there. You don't need to. And now I have the Demo 2015 folder. To create a basic page, all you really need to do is click over in this space here, and you can see right now we already have page 1 highlighted and ready to create. If I click over next to it, it will create 2, and if I create below it, it'll be 3. So you can see how easy it is to generate a new page. The first thing you probably want to do is look and see, well, what templates already exist within the software. So we go up under Pages to this Add Page. When you click on the down arrow and you start to scroll, you're going to notice off to the left-hand side that different fonts start to appear. Now in the beginning it's going to be just some basic stuff, it might be hard to see, but as I actually scroll down, you can see now I've got my Electra Blue, I've got my Electra Green, Electra Red, and we keep going and going. I'll scroll down all the way to the bottom. You can see how many choices we have. Twilight. So as we talked about in class with aesthetics, you want to think about the theme of your show, the aesthetics of your show, and pick an appropriate theme for it. So for the slate, I chose the basic template. You can see it just has here line 1. If I click on it when it's under text, it will select this and it will allow me to enter maybe the name of my show. So for example, we've been doing a show called Viral Videos. Type that in. Once I have it in, I can then click on the grab and I can move it up here. And at that point, I can do different things with it. I can grab it and make it bigger. Okay. I can also make it a different font. I can make it a different color. I can bold it, italicize it, underline it, all the basics. I can track it and lead it. I can do things with tracking and leading. Okay, leading when I would need something else on there to do that. So those are some of the basics. You can see here that we also can do edging, we can do shadows. I'm not going to get into everything, but you certainly are welcome to play with these different features and come up with some different things. So once I am happy with my font style, my font size, my font color, etc., what I could do is I can then go back to my text box and I can maybe enter in some of the additional information that I need to put in here, which would be director, which I guess I could put my own name in for now, the date, and the take number. Now this is not very pretty because I'm just typing it in quickly. You then can play around with spacing, color, font size, design, all of that. But I wanted to give you the basics on how you go about doing that. So let's say you're going to build your credits. You would click on a new page. Now we have a blank canvas again. And we go back to our add page and we look for a way to do credits. One way we can do it is to do our crawl page. And we can type in all the information, and once we do and we hit play, everything will scroll through the screen. Another way you could do it is to add a new still page if you wanted. And in that way, you could actually find a template you like. For example, if I'm looking at heat right now, I would select heat 9. You can see right here, I already have some text columns and things like that where I could actually enter in the text where I would type in director, and I could just go right over to text and type in the name of the director, and so on and so forth. And then I would just have several pages back to back that I would then call up and fade between. So there's two different ways that you can do credits. Again, you can find a full page template that you could work with, or you could go to the add page and work with a crawl and a scroll, depending on how you want to do that. The other thing you're going to want to choose is a show title. So again, since I just took the heat, I'll go with that because I'll stick within my theme, and I'll look for something that might work well as a show title. Well, one option I have is something like this, and I can type in what I need. Another option I could use maybe would be something like this, but I could take it then and move it. So if I did that and maybe wanted to put it off to the side, I would select my arrow, and I'd have to move this stuff in chunks. That's the only thing with this one, is you'd have to move it in chunks over, but that shouldn't take too long. And you can move, because you're not going to have this much information on a show page, so you could actually delete out some of the stuff and then just create your show title over here, and that wouldn't take too long. So what you want to do is just look through these templates and come up with different ideas. We don't want every show to look the same as the last. Okay, maybe we would just use these three. And then again, you can still, just like we did for the title page, you can go through and from this point change your font style, your font size, your font color, etc., etc. Another thing that you'll do in many shows will be your lower thirds. Here we have a basic lower third where you'd have the name and the description. We also have lower thirds where we can import some graphics and insert some images. For a lot of our stories, we do that. And here you can have a story idea with an image inserted. So as you're building your graphics, remember to save project frequently. I would say after maybe every 2-3 graphics, just come up and hit save and make sure the project is being saved. Once the project is saved, you want to make sure that you've organized your graphics according to the list that you were given or to the new list that you created, so that you know what numbers follow what numbers. So for example, I'm going to think about the order I'm going to use my graphics. I'm going to do the slate first, so I'll drag the slate up into position 1. I'd use my show title next, so I put that there. I had a different show title, so maybe I'll put my two options for my show title next to each other. Then the next thing I think I might use is a lower third, and then maybe after that another lower third, and then after that I'll delete. I don't have some here, so I'll just select it and hit remove if I don't want it in there. And hit remove. And then I have my credits at the end. Now let's say I really like these lower thirds and I do something even a little bit different with it, and I don't want to start from scratch, especially for example this one here that I actually moved around. What I can do is hit the clone button, and now I have 2 of these without having to rebuild it from scratch, and all I have to do is enter in different text. That's a very simple way to just enter in text without moving everything around. So you want to clean up anywhere you don't have something you need. Once your whole list is done, you make sure to write it all down. 1 is my slate, 2 is my show title, 3 is my second show title, and so on and so forth. And then you have your graphics list and you can operate. Once you have everything organized, it's time to execute the graphics. The way you do that is double click in here on what you want to go up. You'll notice that it will appear in this box. If it doesn't appear in this box, it means that the TriCaster switcher is not seeing it. Once it's up in this box, then what you can do is take or fade it on. And you do that by either pressing the D or the F key on the blue keyboard. So this blue keyboard is attached to the switcher. D takes it in and out, F fades it in and out. And this keyboard, as the one you've been working with, is your edit keyboard. Okay? Edit, playback. So that's a really quick snapshot tutorial of how to use the live text that works with our TriCaster system. I encourage you to be creative, work with some of these things, try it out. During class at any point, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me or even rely on some of your team members who have been graphic producers before. And have a great time, and remember to save your work.